Hello, Joy Olson, Blockbuster Fundraising. Say, have you heard the news? Direct mail is alive and well. I don't know whether you subscribe to the Agitator. If you don't, you should, because they're spot on and it's an entertaining blog, really well done. And when I got my blog this week, I thought, ooh, I've got to share it with you because it's really good. And it is all about direct mail. They back up. Nick Ellinger wrote this particular blog, and he backs up with facts his reasoning that direct mail is alive and well. And he says that he feels like you as a development director already know that direct mail isn't dead. And I know that as a development director, we really depended on our direct mail results. They were good. And I think if you work really hard on your direct mail, put a great piece out there, you're extremely pleased with direct mail results. So here are Nick Ellinger's arguments for continued use of direct mail in case you're still on the fence. Okay, and he's got some really nice results. He says that mail is where donations come in. And in Blackbaud Institute of 2017, their charitable giving report, Blackbaud found that 6 to 12% of total fundraising came in online, depending on the sector. So, yeah, online is growing faster than offline, but, this is a big but, it still means that 88 to 94% of donations are made offline in the mail. Nick says that mail retains donors slightly better. The same survey found that 31% of first-time offline donors will stick with you. They will retain. Only 25% of your new online donors will. So that's an important 6%. Direct mail still looking very good. This is really an interesting statistic. You're going to want to pay attention here because I know as a development director, we agonize over mail acquisition, the spending of the money, because we know the results seem minuscule. But listen to this. Nick says, ending your mail acquisition is a flop. He uses this statistic to give you an example. The American Cancer Society stopped mail acquisition in 2013. Listen to this. New donors dropped by 11%. New donor revenue dropped by $11.3 million in the first year. And the 5-year impact on income then was $29.5 million. Can you believe it? So acquisition is still very important. Nick says that the ACS Relay for Life raised $25 million less than the previous year. And looking at the ASPCA example, they likely also had a drop in planned giving. All three of those organizations started mail acquisition back up 18 months later. So that's stunning, don't you think? It's going to make you feel a lot better about budgeting in that acquisition mailing. Well, speaking of longer-term impacts of direct mail, Nick points out that mail acquires large gift donors. A study from Analytical Ones found that 1 out of every 6 $2,500 and up donors was acquired through the mail, and a quarter of $1,000 to $2,500 donors were as well. That's important. Those are important statistics. Many, Nick says, but of course not all, donors like the mail. A 2012 Epsilon study found that 73% of consumers said that they prefer mail for brand communications, and 62% like checking the mail. And no, guess what? Direct mail does not turn off young donors. Mail engages the mind differently. MRIs, this is a great study, an MRI finds that physical materials leave a deeper footprint in the brain. They also have more emotional processing, which leads to greater memory. They also have more response connected with internal feeling, which means the message is better internalized. Don't you think that's amazing? They give another statistic here, more details. Nick says, mail lifts all boats. He said that Garth Peters gave an attribution presentation at the 2014 DMA, Direct Mail Association, and in it he showed an example from a museum that found that only about 13% of the revenue related to an acquisition mail piece actually went to the mail piece. Almost 40% went to on-site donations. 26% went online. 17% went through their retail site, and 5% called in. So without attribution or testing, you are likely missing revenues related to the mail. They're getting the mail, they're getting inspired to give, but they don't necessarily mail it back in. In fact, a Dunham and Company study found that mail beats email as a way of getting online donations. Isn't that interesting? And I think as a development director, that's why you really need to have a contiguous, consistent campaign. If you're doing an acquisition mailing and you can have the emails plus the regular address, use it. Back them up. So, direct mail still works in a number of ways. Mail is not perfect. Well, nothing's perfect. Specifically, mail acquisition is tougher than it has been, and it will continue to challenge us. But it's best done in coordination with other channels. And it can get repetitive and tactic driven. I think the most motivating factor is your story. Your story, your images, it's the message. It's the message, not the tactic. It's not the medium of direct mail. It's your message. So, Nick says, rededicate yourself to direct mail with the strategy, the empathy, the excitement, the possibilities that it deserves, because it's still alive and well. So here's to your next direct mail. May it be a huge success. May your story be exciting and compelling, and I know it will be. Hey, Joy Olson here, Blockbuster Fundraising, joyolsongroup.com, blockbusterfundraising.com, and way over 300 free fundraising videos on our YouTube channel. So join us. We're here to inspire fundraising excitement for you and your organization. You're not alone. We're here cheering you on. Have a great week. Thanks. Oh, and remember, Facebook Lives every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Bye-bye.